Peter Guber and Variety's Peter Bart talk to the biggest names in the business. The AMC original series, Sunday Morning Shootout, next.
Hello, I'm Peter Guber.
And I'm Peter Bart, and this is Shootout. So, Pete, actors are a bit predictable in many ways, ego being one of them. But if you talk to actors over the years, the dangerous moment always is when they say to you, I want to stretch. Because I want to stretch, translated, means that if you're a serious actor, you want to be a comic. If you're a comic, you want to be a serious actor. If you're a star who always gets the girl, you want to become a loser in the next role, and back and forth. And all this is fine, except for one thing. There's an extraordinary high degree of risk in stretch. Look at many of our actors today. I mean, Robin Williams, I think a lot of his career languished because as a wonderful comic, he insisted on playing the serious actor. Jim Carrey is terrific in pictures like Fun with Dick and Jane most recently. But time and again, he comes back in these very dour roles, when frankly, I think he's a bit colorless. I mean, I think that if you're a producer or director and an actor says to you, I want to stretch, that's a sign to bail.
Stretching is good. You know, it's really good. It's the most important thing one can do in their life. If you look at the people that have stretched, they've been very successful in it. The difficulty is comedy actors are truly a brand. The audience is predisposed to laugh at them.
That's right.
Audience expectation for comedy actors is to be in comedy, I grant you.
So they're flying under the false brand. In other words, having established the brand as funny, all of a sudden people pay to see them and they're not funny. And that's what happens in an actor's career when it's fine to stretch, but the stretch marks begin to show. So in the interest of honesty and candor, there was some extraordinary exceptions to my rule.
That's a change for you.
Yeah, I know. It won't happen again.
I hope not.
I believe. But, I mean, Bill Murray, who went from the Caddyshack genre of pictures to Lost in Translation, it really is accepted now as a serious actor.
I'm not sure he's accepted as a serious actor. He's looked at, if you watch those films, as punctuation. His comedy, even if it's wry and just kind of offbeat, you're always looking for that comedy edge. So I think you're right. He was a serious actor, but the audience is constantly willing to laugh at the littlest thing from Bill Murray, whereas another actor, they wouldn't even give it a smile.
His characters more nuanced.
That's true. And then again, you look at other actors like Tom Hanks, who really came out of a lot of comedy, even romantic comedy, Sleepless in Seattle and League of Our Own, and a whole bunch of films that were successful, and big, very big, and Splash. Suddenly he does Philadelphia, he does Saving Private Ryan, I mean, Da Vinci Code.
God knows he got away with it.
So the idea is, you really have to look at all the actors that move in different directions. Look at De Niro going into comedy. Look at Schwarzenegger going into comedy. Hoffman, how he's morphed his career. The idea is not necessarily to do it for any other reason than to grow, to continue to grow. If you don't grow, you go. I think Vince Vaughn, I think Jim Carrey, I think Adam Sandler will find, they're prodigious talents. They will find a role that sparks their creative juice, and they will be effective in it.
But if you were the producer of the first film where Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to do comedy, would you have run like hell? I mean, I must say, if I'd been in that meeting and Arnold, who is not one of the funniest human beings who ever lived, comes in and says, I'm going to be very funny with Danny DeVito, I must say, I would have gotten a little worried at that moment in time. He brought it off. De Niro, you're absolutely right. That's a classic example of an actor reinventing himself as a very funny guy. He's a brilliant satirist. On the other hand, some of the other actors in his age group, like Robert Redford and Michael Douglas, have not been able to make that switch. I mean, they're still getting the girl in their minds.
The issue is more than just acting, it's a marketing proposition. You know, when all of a sudden you've got an Adam Sandler film, everybody gets all excited in the studio, everyone's all thrilled, we have an Adam Sandler film in the summer. Then the marketing people read the script and find out it's about an alcoholic and it ends in a depressing way. And that hot sweat turns to cold sweat because they know they're going to either have to hide the bacon or sell it against his grain. That's the dilemma that happens because these folks have established themselves as a comedy brand. The danger is that when they move outside of that, you have to be very careful how you market the film because the expectations of the audience is what you have to fulfill.
If you were an agent, and I can't imagine that ever happening.
No.
And a couple of your star clients came in and said, well, we want to be funny, or we want to be serious actors. I think you'd say, you know, find another agent, Pete. I really do, because life is too short to bail out the egos from the drama that follows abject failure.
If I had a habit that I had cultivated over a number of years, many, many years, a lifetime, called eating, and the actor came in and told me that, I think I would succumb to the fact of, let me see what I could do, rather than telling them no. No is an anathema to most actors.
You're damn right.
You know, so you have to be very careful. The idea is to try to move them carefully into opportunities that'll showcase their talents effectively and yet allow them to grow.
That's right. Absolutely right. And when Humphrey Bogart or Clark Gable in the old days went into their agents or went to their studios and said, no, we don't want to do that part again. You know, Bogart always would say, I want to pull the gun out. I don't want to kiss the girl. You know, Casablanca, he had to change his ways, and by God, I'd say it worked for him, wouldn't you? But the studio chiefs were the guys in those days, in the great era of the stuff, they're always putting their actors on suspension because they always wanted to stretch. And the studio czars, who were really going by brands, they'd always say, oh, God, not again.
All human needs a certainty and variety, actors and audiences. The audiences want certainty in the money they're paying for the brand they're buying. They want to be laughing if they're supposed to be laughing, cheering and frightened if they're supposed to be cheering and frightened. The actor also wants variety. He doesn't want to be doing the same role over and over and over and over again. So this force is always at work. You have to give them enough certainty and some variety. And I think when actors stretch and they do it effectively, they can succeed. Talented folks managing their careers effectively can straddle, can stretch.
The lesson is there are exceptions to my rule. My rule, I still think, stands.
Why do you call it your rule? Where did you invent this?
It's Bart's first law.
I never was a person that felt, okay, this will be a good strategy. It really came out of the desire to work. If I would have ended up on a kid's TV show, I would have been thrilled, or anything, honestly. If I would have ended up doing a sitcom when I first got out here, I would have been on that and been very happy.
What are you two hooligans doing in this hospital?
Next Sunday night, beginning at 5:30, mobilize for the premiere of DVD TV MASH, featuring the enhanced version, loaded with info. Director Robert Altman's 14-year-old son wrote the lyrics to the theme song. When he landed this role, Radar was playing Charlie Brown off Broadway. This was the first studio film to use the F word.
All right, Bob, you have to keep your filthy mouth to yourself.
DVD TV MASH premieres next Sunday night, beginning at 5:30 on AMC.
Vacations are the perfect place to lose your inhibitions. And the worst place to lose your money. Carry American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost or stolen, we'll refund them in 24 hours. Get them now and receive a $500 discount card. Good towards the guaranteed lowest rates at thousands of hotels. Plus, extra savings on already low airfares. And lots more. American Express traveler's checks. Now with bonus savings. Get them before August 31st at your local bank. Don't leave home without them.
Ready to transform your lashes?
Volume Shocking Mascara from L'Oreal. First, the brush prepares and defines your lashes. Then the comb shocks them with extreme volume. 12 times the volume. Volume Shocking from L'Oreal Paris.
Dare be daring.
Because boys sometimes miss. We invented a tool to reach those hard-to-clean places. No more hands and knees. The Scotch-Brite Bathroom Floor Cleaner. Scotch-Brite.
I save 50% on my phone bill.
Vonage is $24.99 a month.
For local and long-distance calling. It's a better home phone service.
Voicemail, caller ID, waiting, all included in the
voice quality is great.
I can keep my same phone and phone number.
Vonage has low international rates.
It's easy. Sign up now and save up to 50% on your phone bill. That's $24.99 a month for unlimited local and long distance.
Call 1-800-901-4876.
Be cool. Be classic. Be undeniably you. LensCrafters guarantees you'll look great in your new glasses.
Our unconditional happiness guarantee gives you up to 30 days to decide. Wear them, change them, love them, or your money back with 2,000 styles and designer brands. Most available in about an hour. LensCrafters. You'll see, we're better.
Special Olympics is the largest sports organization in the world. Serves more than 10,000 athletes right here in Southern California. Training and competition are offered year-round.
Special Olympics changed my life, and now I have many new friends, and I have gained a lot of confidence.
Special Olympics is offered to athletes at no charge. This year, Charter Communications and its partners are working to support this effort. Your help is needed. Contact Special Olympics.
The versatile 2006 Mercedes-Benz M-Class. Just picture yourself in one. Around here, you have to love what you drive.
I had such a long day on the bus. I need a little bit of downtime. My feet are killing me.
Come on, my feet are killing me too. I worked all day, went to the market, I cleaned this entire condo, and then I've been cooking for the last 3 hours. Come on, I'll set the table.
Sweetheart, you've done such a great job already. Why don't you want to finish it yourself and have that personal power, that accomplishment?
Set the table.
Listen to me. Do you think that when Michelangelo, right, was painting the 16th chapel, that he said, hey guys, you know, I did pretty good on the first 15 chapels, but why don't you help me design this one? And maybe you could help me, give me a brush, and you guys can grab brushes and we can all make a great chapel. No, he didn't. And you want to know what the results were? A masterpiece.
Vince Vaughn is a prodigious comedic talent. His Wedding Crashers was a global phenomenon, and as a comedy, reached stratospheric proportions, and has led him to be sought after by virtually every studio for every comedy.
It's a fancy-ass way of saying it made him a star.
Right.
So Vince, having started out with some serious roles, has certainly found his way in comedy.
Well, that would make him a successful stretcher.
True. And Scott Stuber is his producer on The Breakup. And Scott Stuber, of course, was a top executive at Universal who decided that producing would be a hell of a lot more fun.
Let's find out.
How you doing?
You're the only guy that ever paid him.
Good to see you.
Pleasure to see you guys. How are you? Good to see you.
Well, you two guys have at least two things in common. You're both very tall.
True. We like
That's
that
why
about
we
each
didn't
other.
stand up.
And you're both producing the new movie, The Breakup.
Yes.
We were arguing before you came aboard about comedy actors and dramatic actors switching back and forth, straddling it. I always felt that a comedy actor could go into a dramatic role and stretch himself, and vice versa. Bart seemed to feel that, you know, stick to your best efforts.
I thought it was a good idea. It's just that the pictures always bombed.
No, but they didn't always bomb. They didn't always bomb. That's not true. You're making a statement that's just basically not
See
true.
what I mean? It's a difficult relationship.
But you've done dramatic films and you've done comedy films. Now, when you go do a dramatic film, which you're going to do, I think John Krakauer's book next, Into the Wild.
I'm going to go do a role in that, yes,
Right.
that's Sean's
That's
directing.
hardly a comedy. Do you feel that that is a challenge for your audience all of a sudden to see you in another role like that?
I don't. But again, it's just sort of how you approach things. I never go in there putting it on myself that I have to prove I'm dramatic or I'm comedic. When I switched and did old school and started then doing a series of comedies, studios weren't looking at me for comedies. They would say, well, we'll hire him as a villain or as sort of a dramatic kind of a darker character, but we've never seen him be funny because Swingers was so long ago. It's just how it goes. And now, of course, comedies are predominantly what I get offered. But I think as an actor, you can't approach it from a place saying, I need to do some drama, I need to do a comedy, just for the sake of doing it. It gets back to the same conversation we were having about going for results. You have to connect to material, understand what it is that you're trying to say or reveal in that part, and approach it from that place. You can't approach it from saying, I want to be known. Truthfully, for me, if the next 4 scripts I got were comedy, that would be great if they were the best scripts. If they were dramas, that would be great. You're looking for material, and you're looking to challenge yourself.
What is the role of the producer today?
For me, on this one here, it was an idea that I had about 10 years ago. We wrote it on spec, and then we went out to the studios, and I was really impressed with Universal, and particularly with Scott, because he was very passionate. He talked about it from a creative place. He understood the material. And
as an executive in the company.
As an executive in the company.
But it's important to say, I want your money, I don't want your story notes. That's a good idea.
Yes.
Do you agree with that, Scott, though? I mean, you were inside studios for so long. Why is it that movies do get castrated when the studio executives bandy it about?
The price of movies has caused fear amongst the ranks, that you're trying to basically serve the biggest denominator, the biggest audience possible, and sometimes in that you start to take away the edges. And sometimes I think the edges are what makes storytelling the most provocative. People want to be challenged, and I think sometimes that groupthink kind of takes that away. And I think as an executive or as a producer, the smartest thing you do is listen. And I think sometimes having the patience to get in the room with the creative person behind the material and ask the question, what was behind this, instead of taking it away, say, what was the motivation, understanding that before you change what's behind it. When you understand where he's coming from, he can articulate this movie very precisely.
In other words, he won't give.
He won't give, but he also comes from the right place. There's no give in terms of his passion and his vision, which is what you're there to support.
But I mean, that being said, I'm always open, and as we all know, filmmaking is very collaborative. And sort of the background I come from, and starting with Swingers, we all crossed lines as far as whose job was what, because we were trying to accomplish making a movie on a very low budget. So I'm always open to ideas, and Scott, even in the development process, came up with different lines that better explained what we were trying to do, or, you know, ideas and stuff. So it's not like I go in and say, this is it. I think that's the first way to set yourself up to fail. And even when it comes with directors, the ones that are usually the better directors or more accomplished ones are the ones that will listen and take ideas more. It's really people that are scared and that don't know that feel a need to sort of establish power and not listen.
And what was wrong with the Swingers, conceptually?
Oh, conceptually. Well, you had an all-male cast. Right. There was no female lead. The music was not contemporary. It was sort of the grunge time, in hip-hop time. So the music was a throwback. None of the kids would listen to it. And the way my character talked was very specific and would not be understood by major audiences. And, of course, my feeling and Favreau's feeling was always, the more specific you are to a certain neighborhood or group of people, actually the more universal you are, because there's a reality there that's real. And this was like, you can't force a girl into a group of guys when the story's about guys that talk about girls a lot, but ultimately end up playing video games by themselves.
And that's when you came up with the Hasidic gunfighter.
Yes.
Okay, now that's pretty specific. Remind us what that story was.
Well, that was Favreau came up with that. We had done Swingers, and Swingers got a lot of attention, and then ultimately after its theatrical release has had a great life and remembered. And so after the early success of that, people came to us and said, look, whatever you want to do, we get it. We're wrong. You don't need to have a girl in the thing. You can have whatever type of period music. You guys were right. There was a resurgence. Swing music got popular. The dialogue, they're quoting it. It's on billboards, Vegas, baby, Vegas. Whatever you want to do. And Favreau was like, great. Here's a movie about a Hasidic Jew who's the fastest gun in the West. And they're like, except for that one. We'll do anything but that one. And we never got that movie made. Even 4 years ago, we went out again and tried to get the movie made unsuccessfully, because that's a situation where you actually would not compromise that material. That's a very specific story to tell.
How do you escape the fact that media today wraps a movie in real life? If you look at Ben Affleck and I think it was Jennifer Lopez, and you look at Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and you look at Russell Crowe and Meg Ryan, so much of their real life affected the view of the film. Were you nervous about that, or are you anxious about that in your own life experiences with Jennifer, and now there's this film called The Breakup?
Yeah, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. I feel that each actor has a different take on it. Some really put that out there as a sales device, or that's part of their advertising. And I'm saying for me, I don't agree with that, but I think it's great that there's different people doing different stuff. Everyone has to kind of navigate their own journey. It's never been my style to sort of do that type of self-promotion in that way, and I think it is a pitfall to a large degree, because I think as movie sales and stuff is down, the access to the actors, there's not the mystique and the mystery that there once was. So it's something that you deal with, and for me, you say, boy, they do this to everyone. They're doing their job. They're looking to sell papers. I get it. It's not personal. You don't take it personal.
But there is a whole school of thought now that Tom Cruise has exposed too much of himself, that people don't want to know that much about him and his relationship to his religion and to his girlfriend. So I think your theory, which is basically, look, as an individual, it's my business. Don't keep talking about yourself. I think your theory is buttressed by Tom's problems.
You know, Tom's obviously, I respect him very much as an actor. He's made some great movies, and he's been around and been successful for a long time. Right. And I mean, as we sit here, Mission Impossible did close to 50. Is that a disappointment? I mean, still did $50 million. So he's obviously navigated waters well. And I think, you know, for me, I think people burn out on that sort of, you know, noise. And to me, that's all it is. I mean, let's just look at this for a second. When I first came to Hollywood, there was one show, Entertainment Tonight. And most of my friends who wanted to be in the industry, like myself, were more sort of vulnerable or nerdy people. They loved acting. I never thought, boy, I want to be famous or get a table. At 18, I really thought, if I got one line on a TV show, that would be great. If I got a scene in a movie, that would be unbelievable. And it was really wanting to get good at my job that all of a sudden you wake up and go, boy, I have some opportunities. Even the drive to get Swingers made was about, boy, it would be really fun to tell a movie that we love, not this movie's going to get sold and go on. All that stuff came as a result of that. And I think as a society, we're too focused on results. We're too focused on the celebrity. And you see it, I think, in the quality of films. And even actors today, they're only actors or singers by default. That's the quickest road to being famous, not because they have a need or a calling to act or to storytell.
Coming up next, Lawrence Fishburne plays Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, a notorious real-life criminal godfather in 1930s Harlem. Hoodlum, an AMC premiere. Next.
There are many times that I will finish a scene and I'll ride off and look at these cascading Rocky Mountains and this, lovely sky and these surroundings and think, my God, I mean, I'm probably the luckiest guy in the world.
Your life is busy. Busier now than in your 20s. That's why GNC has introduced Women's Ultra Mega Bone Density Formula. The first multivitamin available only at GNC, featuring MBP, a new protein complex from milk that's clinically shown to support natural bone building. Our formula has 100% daily supply of calcium, vitamin D, plus antioxidants to keep you going strong. That's why at GNC, we believe a quality life starts from within. Live well.
Vacations are the perfect place to lose your inhibitions. And the worst place to lose your money. Carry American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost or stolen, we'll refund them in 24 hours. Get them now and receive a $500 discount card. Good towards the guaranteed lowest rates at thousands of hotels. Plus, extra savings on already low airfares. And lots more. American Express traveler's checks. Now with bonus savings. Get them before August 31st at your local bank. Don't leave home without them.
No matter how pampered the dog, no matter how strong, all dogs have one thing in common. They can all be infected by potentially deadly heartworm disease, but they can all easily be protected with HeartGuard Plus. It's the only real beef chewable dogs love to take, so you have 100% confidence your pet is protected. HeartGuard Plus is the #1 choice of vets and pets for safe, proven protection.
All dogs should be tested for heartworm infection before starting a preventive program. HeartGuard Plus is well tolerated. In rare cases, digestive and neurological side effects have been reported. For more information, contact your veterinarian.
Now save up to $6 when you purchase HeartGuard Plus from your veterinarian. Call 1-877-WORM-FREE. That's 1-877-967-6373. Ask your vet about HeartGuard Plus. Easy to give, protection to live.
Do you think that producing a movie with a superstar and you're co-producing with them is different than is different than being the executive at the company?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what you have to do in either of those jobs is approach the person head on. I mean, one of the reasons we get along well is because we have a similar belief in the way you approach material or work. You know, you go at it, you do it 24/7, you put everything into it, and if you have a problem, you walk up to the other person and you say it to them. Sadly, that doesn't exist in our business as much as
you can help me and Goober. We've never worked that out.
He has helped me. Believe me, he has helped
We had a little bit of time in the trailer. I worked him through some issues. I think you guys will be great for the next 100 episodes.
But what difference do you find being a producer than being an executive on a film like this?
You know, I think on a day-to-day thing, you've got to, you're looking at so many, much more minutia at the end of the day. I mean, we're talking every day about how we're going to score the movie, how we're going to sell the movie, every aspect of it. I really don't approach it a ton differently in terms of the way. I felt like in the old job, I went at people creatively straight on also. And I said, here's how I feel, here's how I think we can do better, and let's have an open conversation about how to accomplish it. Obviously, the film is just much more your own. You're much more involved. We're there all night together on the scoring stage and the mixing stage, trying to make sure that we make the best product we can. It's something we're proud of, which we're proud of what we accomplished.
When you saw Rudy, that was the first film that you had a kind of a leading role, an important role in it. What was your first thought? Did you ever think you'd be a $20 million actor calling the shots?
Well, Rudy was interesting because I had told everyone I have a really nice part in this movie, Rudy. And I didn't have an agent at the time. And then I got an agent. I signed with an agent, kind of presenting myself that I have this movie coming out, and I'd have a lot of opportunities, and I'm really being picky, and I'm not quite sure who I'm going to sign with. This was the only person I was talking to at the time. And I did not get invited to the premiere. I'm
going to get blamed for that. I can see that. It was on film.
I saw him cross you off the list.
Yes. Vaughn kid. Nope. But I got cut out. Most of my stuff got cut out of the film. And that was actually a really good experience because it was motivating. At first it was hard, of course, but then it was very motivating in a way. And it led me to Favreau and Swingers and Made and the journey that I've taken with him. It's how I met him. But I never thought, even when we made Swingers, it came out of a desperation to get a movie made that we, not wanting to audition, and getting a movie made that we found value in. It never came out of a place of this will lead to this and this will lead to this. It was just what was in front of you. So I never was a person that felt, okay, this will be a good strategy. It really came out of the desire to work.
So Vince,
if I would have ended up on a kids' TV show, I would have been thrilled, or anything, honestly. If I would have ended up doing a sitcom when I first got out here, I would have been on that and been very happy.
But now, when you were in the middle of the Wedding Crashers, was there some moment in time when you said to yourself, my God, this is working, it's cooking?
Yeah, I mean, Owen, David, myself, the director, and Owen, every day we're like kids with the scenes. What's funnier? What's a better way of doing this? We had a blast. But you can't really handicap. I mean, there's times I thought we were cooking before and no one wanted to eat our meal. So, you know, you do your best at what you have. But I'm not very good at afterwards saying, oh, I know that this movie's going to go on and do what Crashers did. I knew it would do well, but yeah.
People claim that.
I had a hard time picking the Derby, too.
Now, were you there, because there was a degree of disagreement about the Will Ferrell segment of the movie. Now, did you feel that was a good idea to have that segment, or not a good idea?
I thought it was a good idea. It was something Owen had thought of in the script and concept. Forget that it's Will playing the part first, and realize that there's some sort of mentor character presented out there that established wedding crashing and taught us how to do it. And then you get to that turn, and now he's crashing funerals. And it really was a perfect set piece to get Owen going, there's something that's not right and hollow about this, to motivate him then to go to the wedding. So I thought it was important for the turn that the story took.
We wish you the best continued success in your career, and you too, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in. It's really fun to talk to you.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I hope you both don't have a breakup.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much. Great seeing you. Thanks a lot. You can get so much done when no one cares who takes credit. So much gets hung up on who gets credit. And so for me, I've never had that be my motivating factor. In the screenplay, writing of the screenplay, producing the movie, you know, I think you have to have people around you that are competent and that are an asset in it. The easiest thing to do is say the movie comes first and not get hung up on what that, you know, side of it. And so I'm not that motivated, no, to become a full-time producer. I would do it again if the project spoke to me, but it's not my focus.
Coming up next, Lawrence Fishburne plays Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, a notorious real